As I always tell people, oh, that is working, there we go. I tell people, we at the Unitarian Church have principles, 7 of them. And if you don't like those, we've got others. So we welcome you today. And we had a wedding here last night. Abraham, our beloved Abraham, got married to Sarah. And we have such a great group of people working here. I have to stop and say that, you know, Jose was here till midnight. He was here in the morning. He's amazing. Lynn wasn't feeling good. Kelly was here. Kelly stepped in for Lynn and kind of carried the office and sort of managed. Like, just a good group of people. So let's see. Lots going on. I'm just going to run through some things, and then, so September 18th, it looks like we're going to have a planned giving event. So those who would like to put PUC in their will, or even just think about that process for themselves without any commitments to PUC, you should come. It'd give you some thoughts about, retirement and those kind of activities. This Thursday and Friday, we're leaving here about 10 o'clock. There's 4 of us so far that are going to go to De Benneville and just, play in the yard, cutting down trees, cleaning up kitchens, that kind of thing. So you can talk to me after. We still have room to come join it, so you get some fresh mountain air. You can make a difference for camp. This coming Saturday, we're going to have a big parking lot party, and I want to invite Andy up right now, who's a better pitch man than anyone, who also was there doing Laundry Love yesterday. So we serve, as we all know, at-risk people and homeless people, and we, give out quarters. We still haven't gone inside yet, which we hope to do soon, but Andy was steadfastly doing that yesterday, and the Kistners have been the champions of this for a year and a half now, so praise for them. And Andy and I are going to pitch this camp on Saturday, so come on, big guy.
Right.
Do your thing.
All right, thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody, for letting me talk to you for a couple minutes here. Camp de Benneville Pines, for those that know about Camp de Benneville Pines, it is a Unitarian Universalist camp at Angeles Oaks. We own it as a church. We are a partial owner of this camp, as well as all the other churches in the Pacific Southwest District. Now, normally we go to camp every year and have a great weekend, but for the last 2 years, we've not had a chance to get up to camp, so we're going to bring camp to church. Mm-hmm. So next Saturday, we're going to have a PUC, we're calling it Camp Day Benneville Pines at PUC. So it's going to be from 2 till 8 p.m. next Saturday.
That's his name for it.
Right, Camp Day Benneville, yes, instead of de Benneville. But it's our day here at camp at PUC. We're going to have activities for adults. We're going to have a blind wine tasting test. If you've ever had that happen, it's wonderful. My wife does a great job with it. We're going to have a free spaghetti dinner for those that show up. We'll have vegetarian as well as meat options available and salad. If you want to come on and see me. I will be here handing out flyers for anybody that wants one. I'll give you one. It gives you an itinerary of what we're going to be accomplishing during the day. If you have any questions, our email addresses are at the bottom. I thank you so much. And
Bouncy house for kids.
Bounce house for kids. We're going to do a trail
Everyone's
hike.
invited. We're trying to make it a community event.
Arts and crafts activities and a couple adult activities. So if you want to come, you can drop by anytime during the day from 2 to 8 p.m. Even come in for s'mores at the end of it like the kids do. That's always a fun thing to do for the end for s'mores. Very quick, Laundry Love yesterday, we served 18 people. This was the largest number we have served since pre-COVID. So we're working our way back to a great numbers. Any questions, let me know.
How about a show of hands for anyone who might think of coming and dropping by? Please raise your hand. It'll be a fun day, just for fun. Carolyn and Ray are going to do s'mores in the garden. Good chance to be at church and just hang out with folks and have some kind of entertainment and educational activities. Thank you, Andy. Here we go. Okay. We got more stuff. Don't kid yourself. We're talking about putting a loop hearing aid system into this building, which would help people who have hearing aids. And Kelly's working on that. We're trying to figure out how to do that. We have some other folks who might be supporting that. This coming Wednesday, the board retreat is happening, and I'm going to talk a little bit about committees in just a second. This week we have Seekers at 10 on Wednesday, and we also have the Senior Covenant Group at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Vivian, stand up for a second. We have chalice groups that are sort of forming. We're trying to pull together. We already have 3 or 4 up and running. Vivian's been the champion of this. We have a couple great leaders, but it's a good chance for people to bond and have a chance to have intentional conversations about deep matters with folks. There's going to be a green, see how old we're doing? It's crazy, right? Green, Ray and Carolyn and others will be in the garden talking about green sanctuary stuff immediately after the service. And you have an announcement, Gabby. I can see it in your eyes.
Remember the wildlife?
Yeah. Yeah. So on, I think it's the 12th of September. It's sort of it's the weekend after Labor Day. We're going to have, it'd be a great thing to bring kids to. We're going to have the group that, I don't have the names not in my head, but they heal like predatory birds like raptors and stuff, and they're going to come do a demonstration on the patio. So we're not starting food before that. That would be kind of dangerous. But it's a great chance, that's a great thing for kids to come to, and you're going to see recovered raptors and recovered, I don't know if it's eagles, but certainly hawks and the such. All right, I'm not done. I want to do a quick run through of committees. As we head into the board retreat, one of the things that the pandemic has, eroded, we'll call it. We were already we had a program council group that met, bringing committees together about quarterly, just around when I started, and that sort of failed to continue. So there's a quick run of committees. I guess we're having trouble with the projector. So maybe we'll do that next week. We'll talk about committees. But we have RE. I want you to just think about what you might wish to be involved with. Religious education. There's marketing and PR, which we could certainly use more of, right? There's finance. And under finance, there's endowment, or in that same category. There's social justice. We have people who want to re-engage the questions around immigration. Social justice kind of covers the garden as a general rule. We're obviously active around the race issues. We have Angela here who's going to bring dinners to us on Sunday nights in the fall. We're going to be active around that. That would fall under social justice. We have a ministry committee to tell me what I'm doing wrong and right, and to sort of field trouble within the congregation, anyone who has a conflict. We have the board, obviously, and we have, what else do we have? We have multicultural, we have the transition team that just is interviewing people for the MOAD position. We have membership as well, which keeps us sort of buoyant and trained for what it is to be a RE. So think about what you want to be involved. We're trying to, regroup ourselves as we hopefully gather back together. How about that? There we go. We stand in this church on land that has historically been the land of the Tongva people. We want to honor that. And in a less serious note, I have decided that Palos Verdes in translation actually means wealthy cars driven poorly. So if you're looking for a translation, go with that. Amy, come up and read our chalice words for us while I light it.
Good morning. This morning's chalice words are called Just Right. May this be a place and a time that helps us not love too small a thing too much, or have too small a love for big things. May this moment help us get the porridge right.
Thank you, Amy. Okay. So, if you're new to UU, this is kind of I don't know. I always feel like every fall I have to ask the question about whether we should have the rummage sale. Linda Jensen dies a small death every time. So it's a trial balloon, because it was historically one of our fundraising techniques, and since we missed the auction, so I sort of set up my little table of Lifecraft here stuff, which just has little items of my personal life. I'm going to do a sermon called Lifecraft, and it's essentially lifts off Forrest Church's book called Lifecraft, and that is headed our way. But long before that, Gary's going to lead us, and Morning Has Broken. And I believe if you have masks on, you could probably hum along. So Morning is Broken, most of us know. Gary?
I want to be on the projector committee if we have anything.
Yeah, the projector committee.
Yeah, hum along in your head, sing out loud in your head, whatever you'd like. Here we go. Morning has broken like the first morning.
I'd like to invite all our children or young people or foolish hearts down forward for the children's moment. Come on down. Young and young at heart. Yeah, Kim, you're young at heart. There we go. So, everyone here, I'm going to give you a bag of dirt in the end, but I want to tell you a story first. Althea's hiding under the table. Sneaky. I like it. There was a farmer, and he had a donkey. And the donkey fell into this well, a deep well. And the well was not really functional anymore. And they didn't know how to get the donkey out. It was really a tragedy. It was too far down to get down, and they tried to get a hoist under this donkey, and they couldn't pull it up out of this deep well, and the donkey was down there, so they didn't know what to do. They were in trouble. It was really just kind of, really sort of a crisis. So they threw down some food for the donkey, and they all went home because they had spent the day there just trying to figure out what they were going to do. And the next day, they came back, and they had this brilliant idea. They said, what if we don't lift the donkey? What if we lift the floor? So they went and got all the dirt they could near the well, and they started to funnel it in. And the donkey was, of course, upset. It was getting thrown dirt all over it, which I won't do. But I'm tempted. So they took their shovels, and they shoveled the dirt on the donkey, and the donkey started to complain at first, but then it shook off the dirt, and it naturally sort of stomped around because it was a small space, and it eventually realized that the donkey was raising the floor. Once they realized what was happening, they got all the neighbors there, and they shoveled like crazy to get the donkey, because the donkey's been down there now. You know, this is like a day and a half had been in the well. It got fed, but it was still, they didn't know if it would hurt or anything. So all the neighbors gathered, and they came and they filled up the well, and at the last step, with the last couple steps, the donkey stepped out of the well. They had filled the well, which they were trying to do anyway, and the donkey walked out. How about that, huh? Pretty cool, right? So we in this church talk a lot about like tolerance, which we should, and being kind. But yeah.
Why couldn't they just fill it up with candy so then it would be their candy storage?
That's an excellent idea. Althea was suggesting they fill it up with candy, which I believe in psychological terms is called projection. And then they would have had, well, that's a good idea, but I didn't think the dirt was more available. So they went with dirt, and then, because you wouldn't want to step on the candy, right? They'll be crushed the candy, and then all the candy would be crushed by the donkey. But let's move on. So the donkey comes out, they get the donkey, and my point was, in this church we talk about love and kindness, and we want to encourage those kind of things, but one of the things that you have to be in life is tough. A little bit tough, right? Life is going to throw dirt on you, guys. Is that true? Yeah. We're all going to have troubles all throughout life, some big, some small, and you're going to have to struggle to rise above it and struggle challenges like learning a new math problem, or, Naomi was in a theater production. I'm sure that wasn't easy. You learned some new skills along the way, probably some wailing and gnashing of teeth along the way. Life is hard, and you're going to have to struggle. So, in that spirit, I have made bags of dirt for everyone. Take one. There you go. And in the bag is a question. So we're going to talk about animal rights when you guys leave here with Claire and Renee. And there's questions in there, so I'm going to encourage her to take the bag. Everyone has a question, and you're going to watch a little video about animal rights, and then you're going to ask her these questions about how much rights animals should have based on our donkey story. Okay? All right, let's run as fast as you can out of here. No, I'm kidding. Walk slowly and head to RE and see what you can learn about animals and animal rights. Okay? Renee, maybe you can take the bag. Thank you. Awesome. There, put him in there. And you're going to stop in the library and you're going to watch a little video. Good. Cool. Leanne, will you come up and light candles for me? Okay. Here's my prayer. I sat in my bathtub. Beautiful music playing from this portable CD player I put on the floor. I wish the tub were a little deeper. I felt big. My barrel chest and 215-pound body filled the space. It did my soul good to lay there and daydream my little prayers. And then I imagined the people in Afghanistan, the endless moms, bathing their kids when they can in poor parts of the world. Wondered if they had time to linger and laugh and splash and play, or whether the adults have or had any private time. That idea spoiled my good time. I pulled myself out and I wrapped myself in a towel, and my head started. Check my email. Write minister's report for the newsletter. Make doctor's appointment. Write Lifecraft sermon. Call my cousin on her birthday tomorrow. Get the car's axle looked at. What a weird world. Muslim families on the run in Myanmar, under threat from those who would wish them gone, if not dead. And I struggled to fit in a call to my congressional rep about a climate crisis bill, and wonder if we're having an auction this coming year and when. I'm sure you feel this way. How are we supposed to do it? Sort out the priorities, while being mindful of your own life and then the life that surrounds us. Dear Goddess, dear conscience, dear God, help me to continue to wonder how. To not slip completely into the tempting sea of baseball scores and personal relationships and turning the noble list of things on my to-dos to just a list of things. May we enter the silence with the commission and that compelling sense that may we die trying to always rise above our little concerns. May I and we balance in some way appropriate the desire to savor and save in this life. May I and the royal we as a people in this congregation not fail too miserably in heeding our highest calling as a church and falling too quickly and easily into a country club for people with conscience. That is today's prayer for me and for all of us. Amen.
dedicate this sermon to the former leader of the All Souls Church in New York City, Forrest Church. He passed away about a decade ago of esophageal cancer. Wrote a book called Lifecraft. I have a retention creative problem with reading. It matches with my overcompensating imagination, so I read the first 7 pages of the book and there I was. So it's really motivated by the book than anything else. Now, Forrest Church wasn't perfect. One of our more famous ministers, prestigious church, Manhattan, New York, not Manhattan Beach. Published 25 books in his lifetime. Lived for not much more than 60 years. He's one of the icons of our movement where success meets failure. Had an affair in his church. Had something of a flawed life, very wise. He's a person where deep wisdom was lived out and passed on, covered over, ignored, and then passed on again. I read a piece earlier, maybe, 6 months ago or so, and people loved it, so I'm going to read it again. It comes from his book. To one extent or another, the following is true of us. You are self-conscious about your appearance. You feel guilty about things you've done or failed to do. You sometimes have a hard time accepting yourself and forgiving others. You are insecure sexually. You are less than a perfect parent or a less than perfect child of imperfect parents, or both. Beyond this, your life is stressful, your happiness fleeting, your health insecure. More than once, your heart has been broken by a betrayal or a loss. You worry about aging. You worry about dying. The litany goes on. It closes with, you worry what your life means. It's here where we dig in our heels and pick up the question in Forrest Church's advice on the craft of life and meaning. He calls it a craft because we're not innately good at necessarily living the one thing we're handed, right? Life. It's odd. And it's not a science because you can't even follow a recipe of good advice to live your life, can you? You can't put all the pieces together as much as the sort of pieces do fall together. You have to have a certain craft to your own life. And you're going to have to figure that out on your own. His mantra for living well is, want what you have, do what you can, and be who you are. But you can't just want what you have if to a certain degree you don't have it, right? Moreover, what if you're a serial killer? Or even today, you're afraid of black people or immigrants. Should you be just who you are then? I don't think so. We all get tips from others and guideposts. Another one of his descriptions of us is that you find life daunting, full of yearning, beautiful, numbing, sparkling, and a boring thing. Here are a few gems lifted from his book that had enough descriptive power to make it into his Wikipedia biography. He says, we are what we love. Sometimes we love things that are too little for our love to be meaningful. Other times we love very, very big things in too small a way. In either case, ultimately, we are largely what we love. Let's pause for a minute and just think about that. I'm going to read it again. Close your eyes if you would. We are what we love. Sometimes we love things that are too little for our love to be meaningful. Other times we love very, very big things, but in too small a way. In either case, we are ultimately what we love. He says the only thing that can never really be taken from us, even in death, is the love we've given away before we go. The only thing that can never really be taken away from us, even by death, is the love that we give away before we go. Simple and true enough. Perhaps one of the wisest things he said that I can pass on is this. Meaning, for all the attention one might spend on it, does not emerge from longing to be something we will never be. Meaning does not emerge from longing to be something we will never be, or do something we will never do. Meaning is, as he terms it, an emotional dietary supplement of life. Like a vitamin. You can live for a while, you can go along mostly without getting an adequate dose of vitamins. You don't immediately miss having the right amount of vitamin D or B or most any of them. You might not immediately notice a deficit of meaning in your life, but over time it'll come to break you down. Forrest also, at the same time he lifts up the idea of building meaning, he accepts that it's not that simple, of course. He says our lives are novels filled with diverse characters and shifting plots. Our lives are narratives connected and configured by shifting memories. Our lives are like pictures from an exhibition, snapshots in an album. One of the metaphors that he uses is to think of your life as if it were a craft table. I thought it made more sense to think of it as a raffle table, just to pitch the raffle if we're going to do one, which we probably won't, but you know. And he says if you were to design your life and you were to think about the things that are on your craft table, right? Many of us are crafters. Mary Ann Stein we got a whole group of quilters in here on Wednesdays. What would be on your table? Would there be things that are too small you love too much? And what might those things be for you? Would there be big things, important things that you love too little? I just gathered some things personally. These are, family, friends, and friends here. This is my love of big outdoor spaces. This is Canyonlands. This suede jacket is my kind of identity as a bit of a bachelor. This flame was made by my mentor. It's a Unitarian chalice, essentially made out of petrified wood. This dirty coffee cup is my PUC UU church mug that I drink out of every day. This is a Bigfoot shirt that Dan and Sharon and the kids got me. This is Fenway Park to represent Boston, and yeah. And this is somewhat like our view from here, looking down the beach, which I love too. Think about your craft table, you think about what might be missing. I think that what might be missing on my craft table is as much of my sort of commitment to being a social justice minister, the ton of unopened mail and emails and all the ways that my heart are clogged to act on that. All the ways I retreat from that should probably be on that table too. My willingness to pass over that suffering, to continue to feel temporarily good. There would be a radio on that table too that's probably tuned to some stupid sports station that distracts me, buys me a little comfort too. There would be some other pictures I don't have of some people that I'm supportive of, which I'd be proud of. There might be a medal on that table for me. I have a childish pride for all the food that I can eat in one setting. Not a big eater anymore, but I did in 6th grade eat 2 large cheese pizzas at one time. I'm still a fast eater. There's a quarterback guy on that table. There's also a little bit of moving too fast to have a significant other picture on that table, and maybe a little fear of having anyone get too close a view of me. That would be on my craft table too, if I was being completely honest. There's a side of me on my, for the gratitude of being able to do this work and being compensated for it. What's on your table? What's on your table in too big a proportion than it should be? What's not on your table that you wish was there? If you think of it as an ofrenda, a Day of the Dead altar. On my table's a pride of being able to stir easily in a group, and a shame that I'm clueless as to how to be a pastoral counselor, so I lean into just being a friend to everyone. Maybe on your table is the parent project, maybe it's the child project. What are you trying to sell that isn't necessarily the deepest truth of who you are? Ralph Waldo Emerson, very similar to what Forrest Church says, and I apologize for picking 2 dead white guys. Well, Emerson says, a person will worship something, have no doubt about it. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our hearts, but it will come out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. For what we are worshiping, we are becoming. So if your life was a composition of your memories, a rummage sale of all the things that you are, like the great act of looking at your wallet. People say you want to know your priorities, open your wallet, right? You want to know your priorities of what you really value, open your day timer. What is it that you do? Our lives are like exhibitions where we are both viewer and subject. Be a curator of your own gallery with the understanding that we are all witnesses to the people that we have curated ourselves to be. Amen. Amy's going to come share a reading with us. Karen Miracle likes it when I close with a reading, so Karen wins today.
Today's reading is from Reverend Victoria Stafford, called Walking Toward Morning. You know we do it every day. Every morning we go out blinking into the glare of our freedom, into the wilderness of work and the world, making maps as we go, looking for signs that we're on the right path. And on some good days, we walk right out of our oppressions, those things that press us down from the outside, or, as often, from the inside. We shake off the shackles of fear, prejudice, timidity, closed-mindedness, selfishness, self-righteousness, and claim our freedom outright, terrifying as it is, our freedom to be human and humane. Every morning, every day, we leave our houses not knowing if it will be for the last time, and we decide what we'll take with us, what we'll carry, how much integrity, how much truth-telling, how much compassion, in case somebody needs some, how much arrogance, how much anger, how much humor, how much willingness to change and to be changed, to grow and to be grown, how much faith and hope, how much love and gratitude. You pack these with your lunch and your medications, your date book and your papers. Every day we gather what we think we'll need, pick up what we love, and all that we so far believe put on our history. Shoulder our experience and memory, take inventory of our blessings, and we start walking toward morning.
Thank you, Amy. It's now time for our offertory, which we historically have passed, but with COVID, we just ask that you think about generosity. Our president back there is holding up a very beautiful plate that would look much better with lots of money and checks in it. So a priest and a minister and a rabbit walk into a bar. And the rabbit turns to the minister and says, "I believe there's been a typo. Please give generously for the life and work of our church."
Here's a song coincidentally for Althea called Candy.
Yeah, Althea song. What a gift Gary is, isn't he? Former president.
That's not how Leanne characterizes it.
Well, that's for another conversation, but no, the two of them are amazing, and just we're blessed to have them. I mean, if there's like, you can almost say that like there's a 1/4 chance that Gary or Leanne is ahead of something good around here, and it's just a blessing to have them around. A couple, yeah, they really are. They're great. There's a Memory Matters training session for people who have memory issues, which, of course, in my family we're facing immediately or directly and pronto. And the sheriff came in. I was trying to get her to speak, but she was saying that there's been a new rash of scams, particularly around older people around phones. So never, just a reminder to everybody, never buy gift cards. People had stolen my ID from the church membership list, so never follow that if it's Steve Wilson asking you to do some kind thing. And please don't do that otherwise. And never buy gift cards. Don't pass on any information over the phone to someone who you think is trying to scam you or even has a question, and report it to the sheriff's department as well. Okay. What's that? It's an email problem as well, Viv, you're right. Okay, our affirmation of gratitude. You're gonna have to do this without the projector, I believe, right? Here we go. Ready? Let's see how good we are. There will be a test, and it starts right now. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us also be grateful for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others. Whoa, pretty good.
A couple of centuries ago, a Finnish composer called Sibelius wrote a concerto called Finlandia. I'm not going to do that. But luckily, we stole his melody, and I'm going to do This Is My Song, which is the melody from that. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for land of far and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the oceans, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. So hear my song, O God of all the nations, with hopes and dreams for their land and for mine.
All right. This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. So be it. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. And blessed be. Why don't you read the last line?
And now our service truly begins.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
Okay, Steve talked about the mysteries of love in the sermon. I just want to know that some archaeologists recently found the Book of Love and explains everything about it. So this is a song about the Book of Love. The Book of Love is long and boring. No one can lift the damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instruction for dancing. But I love it when you read to me, and you can read me anything. The Book of Love has music in it. In fact, that's where music comes from. Some of it's just transcendental, some of it's just really dumb. But I love it when you sing to me, and You can sing me anything. The book of love is long and boring and written very long ago. It's full of flowers and heart-shaped boxes and things we're all too young to know. But I love it when you give me things, and you ought to give me wedding rings, and I love it when you give me things, and you ought to give me wedding rings. The book of love is long and boring. No one can lift the damn thing.
Just go.
That's it.
Sure.